Alrighty. Let's wait a couple of minutes for some people to get in here. The holidays have gone by quickly, and I know a lot of people were waiting for this. Especially now that Aonishiki is the top dog. But we still gotta wait a couple of minutes. My microphone is muted, but has... Maybe because I wasn't talking. Oh, that's the wrong Twitch chat I have open right there. Sumo Twitch chat. There we go. Hey. Happy New Year, Da Bear. Welcome in. I know What's Up in Mississippi Cajun are probably lurking in the background. There you are. Let me... I always have to fix this, and I don't know why. Not that it's that big of a deal, but my Twitch chat... Because in OBS, you can have, your own little windows that you could put wherever in the thing. And, one of the things is the pop-out chat, so I can, keep Twitch closed off to the side and just have YouTube, or rather my my streaming software, open. But for some reason, it keeps breaking every time, and I don't know why, and I think it's just because OBS is stupid. Yes. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everyone has had a good year. The upcoming year in the Chinese zodiac is the year of the horse, which might be good for a lot of Mongolian wrestlers because they have Uma in their names. Whether it is the full Uma or is a part of, like, Chiyoshoma. You just hear the ma part. But the kanji for horse is in a lot of those Mongolian wrestlers' names for obvious reasons. Because they're the horse riders of the steppes. I also forgot to put into motion the plan I had for YouTube memberships. So I'm going to do that after this tournament, where the plan is to basically lower the prices of all my other memberships and tell people, like, hey, if you want to give more, or, if you can become a member for $2 instead of just $1. That'll be nice. What time will coverage start tomorrow night? With the very bottom matches, and you're gonna want to watch those bottom matches because there's a guy all the way down there we are all looking out for. Asahi Fuji is finally making his debut. We better look out for that one. That will be starting at, I believe, 6 p.m. Central Time, roughly. It might be a little bit earlier because this tournament is in Tokyo, and they do have the ceremony to reveal the yusho portraits. So that is what's going to be happening. Specifically, the fire horse, though the superstition is not to have children because they may be too willful. Yeah. Understandable. Because, I think Gideon is like a wood dragon, and I don't remember what kind of dog I am. I can look that up while we give this another minute. While we're also doing updates too, I did one for the Twitch side. Now this one is for the YouTube's, or I did one for the YouTube side. This one is for the Twitch side. The giveaway is going to be a little different this time, because there is no Aonishiki merch available, and there is no Banzuke available on BigSumoFan.com. If anyone knows another place where I can buy Banzuke for cheap, that would be nice. But, oh, wait, no. I guess he must have just restocked. Okay, well, I gotta buy some of those Banzuke. Wait, maybe I can check to see if he restocked Aonishiki. Nope, no fan towels. So, we're still going to be doing something different for the giveaways upcoming for Twitch. Princess is going to design cups, like tumblers, featuring your favorite sumo wrestlers. And hopefully, off the back of that, we will also be selling those cups, made to order. We'll have them available in my merch store, which, that's one thing I forgot to do, was start the discount for my merch store. I also forgot to snag myself a Streamlabs sponsorship, so I'm probably going to be doing that after the stream. Let me write that down in my my to-do list real quick. With discount for Basho. But let's start getting things ready for the evening. Thank you for the subscriptions. Da Bear, what's up? Kwame Kaze. Exactly the content you're looking for. I really appreciate that. And, I did say the stream was going to start at 10. It is 10. And let's start this thing proper. Welcome, everybody. It is the beginning. Almost, well, technically, it's already started because the ring purifying ceremony already happened a couple hours ago. But the Hatsu Basho, the new year of sumo, has begun. And with that, Tomawashi has broken another new record. So, as everyone who is familiar might already know, we have been tracking a lot of Tomawashi records, most career wins. He will surpass Aonishiki and Onosato this year. We'll come back to this one. He has most career bouts. He'll be moving up over Terao and Aonishiki later this year, if he stays active. Most top division bouts, he will break that and get to number 1 after or during the next tournament. Most consecutive bouts, he's still at number 1. Most consecutive top division bouts, he needs to stay in the top division for the rest of this year to really solidify his place in second. Tomawashi, most tournaments ranked in the top division. He breaks this 3-way tie at 4th to be the lone man at 4th with 98, one behind Kyoku Tenho, and he will be, I think, tied with Hakuho by the end of this year. So, Tomawashi is moving up there. And then, the record that he just moved into, top division wins, which, if he has a really good tournament, he could shoot up to top 6 very, very quickly. And very notably, he is the only non-Ozeki on this list. Everyone else on this list, the most wins guys, they have had much shorter careers and they have had many more wins. But Tomawashi, he's been around forever. Counting down to level 50 come next month. Tamawashi's going to catch up to you too. But congratulations on that, Da Bear. But, I mean, it's just so funny to continuously see Tomawashi break records and continue to push himself up in these record books. And it has been such a treat. This was something that I recently did with Lord Stanley, Sanyaku Brothers on YouTube and Twitch, for those of you that don't know him. I recently featured on one of his streams, or videos rather, where we did some commentary for older sumo, and going back and watching, like, I would say young Tomawashi. He was still like late 20s, early 30s, so he wasn't that young. It was only 10 years ago. But younger Tomawashi was like, wow, that guy. But Tomawashi, he's still trucking. Now, again, going over someone that I think deserves to be highlighted, Asahi Fuji, someone that has been training in Isegahama stable for so long, someone that has been waiting for his debut because of the foreigner rule in Isegahama. Yokozuna Teruno Fuji was the foreigner. He's been waiting to take his place, but then Miyagino stable embedded itself into Isegahama. They were merged, basically. That was the punishment for Miyagino Oyakata. And with that, there was another Mongolian already there, so Asahi Fuji had to continue waiting, and this guy, he's been training so long that he is defeating Sanyaku ranked men, and he hasn't even made his debut yet. So we are keeping a very, very close eye on this guy right here, Asahi Fuji, inheriting the name of the Yokozuna. That's another huge, huge thing. Like, usually Yokozuna names are reserved for family. Like, you look at Kotozakura, you look at, something like that. A lot of names are passed down in the family. You look at someone like Kurahime Yama, who adopted it from his grandfather. Of course, there are only so many names. Granted, there are so many names out there that you could continue making new Shikona and not, get a repeat. But the fact that he was allowed to take the name Asahi Fuji, which was the Yokozuna that was the previous Isegahama Oyakata, that is some very cool lore, basically. Like, Isegahama Oyakata retired, Teruno Fuji became the new Isegahama, and the old Isegahama bestows his Yokozuna name onto this guy that has been tearing it up in the training ring. Like, he's the Yokozuna will call him out for practice, I don't know if that's actually true, probably because of, the respect type thing and the pecking order. I don't know the correct word for it, but basically, such huge expectations are being placed on this guy. I will be skipping around a little bit too, but they're also, speaking of Isegahama stable, all of the Miyagino recruits, except for one, have changed their names to reflect being in Isegahama stable. The big one being this guy, Haku Oho, is now named Haku no Fuji, which is a little corny, but they just replaced the Oho from Haku Oho to Fuji, or no Fuji, So, Haku Oho, now Haku no Fuji. But the only person to not change his name is Enho. Enho being, one of those guys that trained with the former Hakuho, and is, I think, the most senior member of those men from the Miyagino stable switching over. Let's just read this article real quick. From Italian Ozeki, of course. Both the wrestler and stable master Isegahama Oyakata shared their insights regarding the name change from Haku Oho to Haku no Fuji. On the 24th, a meeting of the Wrestlers Association was held at the Sumo Training Center in Ryogoku Kokukikan. Isegahama Oyakata, former Yokozuna Teruno Fuji, who visited the venue to pay his respects regarding his upcoming retirement ceremony on January 31st, so that's some new information to me. Yokozuna Teruno Fuji will be having his hair-cutting ceremony at the end of the month. Explained the decision to add Fuji to the names of the 8 wrestlers originating from Miyagino stable. Once I took them in, thank you, Green Eagle, for your subscription. Once I took them in, they became my own disciples. We changed them so we could all move forward in the same direction. We reached this decision after discussing it together. He explained. Regarding Haku no Fuji, he noted the desire to keep Haku as a reference to the wrestler's home province, Hoki province. The first kanji can be read as Haku. He added that Enho's decision not to change his name was a matter of respecting the wrestler's own wishes. Haku no Fuji stated, I wanted to make the name Hakuno Fuji famous through my own results. Of course, my former mentor at Miyagino Stable gave me the name Haku Oho, so I still hold those feelings close. After consulting with my stable master, I made the final decision myself. While some of his Tomawashi will be adjusted with new embroidery in time for the January tournament, his ake ni, his luggage, will not be ready in time and will still bear the name Haku Oho. So, he couldn't get new luggage. In the new rankings for the January tournament, 9 wrestlers from Isegahama Stable have changed their names. 8 of those 9 are former members of Miyagino. Of the 31 wrestlers currently in Isegahama, 29 now have names ending in Fuji. Among them, the only one who did not change is Enho. When asked if this was the wrestler's own choice, Isegahama Oyakatsu replied, "That's right, yes." He explained that he chose to respect Enho's desire to keep the name as he competed under for nearly 9 years, a name by which he is widely recognized. I think the interesting quirk you might not get from this article is the fact that they didn't ask Enho directly because he is a 3rd division sumo wrestler. And that is just one of those quirks of sumo. The lower division sumo wrestlers, the non-salaried men, the non-sekitori, they are treated differently in the sumo world. To explain it, easily, they're basically treated like a minor would be in like American media, where if there's a scandal, they're kept anonymous, which there was a scandal recently with some lower division men, but I'll get into that later. And generally, the media won't go to these lower ranked men because, not that they're not important, but it's mostly like, they're not the top dogs. Like, sure, Enho is a former top dog, and a lot of people love Enho, but that's just one of those little quirks. So, getting that out of the way, we're not doing the Kachi Clash just yet, but if you do want to join my Kachi Clash stables, I believe I have some open slots. I will have to check. It doesn't tell you how many members are actually in the stable, but I should be able to show you the Heya directory. Let's see, Dickinson Bay. We have 1 opening in Dickinson Bay 3. So if you want to get in there, put your name down. But the next thing I wanted to get into is the Banzuke itself. For any of those that watched, is Nabatame back? I did not see that news. That is very interesting. I would need to see an article or some more info about that. He said he's back. Was that in a sumo food video? Because I'll have to update that banner. If Nabatame is back, I'll update my banner later tonight. But what was I saying? So for those of you that watched my Guess the Banzuke video, since I started playing Guess the Banzuke, and you can see my history along the bottom of the screen here, I've been playing for almost 5.5 years now. This is the September 2020 guesses that I made, and it's only gone downhill from there. I got 310th place with 41 points, which is kind of funny because 41 points in other times would get me like top half. But this Banzuke was so high variance and so all over the place. Like, you look at these scores, it's like, okay, a handful of people at 26, 27, 28, 30, 34, 35, 39, 40, 41, 40. Like, there were a lot of people at every single one of these score markers because just that's how difficult it was to guess the Banzuke. Top score of 67, like, separation of 3 points over 3rd place. Like, that's kind of just luck, honestly, in getting it right, unless they got some wild algorithms going over there. But guessing this Banzuke was very difficult. Hoshoryu, Onosato, Kotozakura, Aonishiki, Kirishima, Takayasu, those were the obvious guys. I got it wrong on who would be on what side. Oho only fell a half of a rank to Komusubi East, while Wakamoto Haru did not leapfrog him. I probably should have expected that because Wakamoto Haru only had an 8 and 7. So, that makes sense. One of the big misses was Wakataka Kage falling below Yoshino Fuji. I thought Yoshino Fuji, with his 9 and 6 from Maegashira 5, Wakataka Kage 7 and 8, I thought they would have kept Wakataka Kage there, but it looks like they want to give the nod to Yoshino Fuji. So I'm very much looking forward to Maegashira 1, Yoshino Fuji. And then Uda got him right. And that's, like, you look at this chart and I seemingly got a lot of random people right. And everything in the middle here was completely incorrect. My little color key here is like light red, like Yoshino Fuji and Wakataka Kage. Oh, I only missed it by half a spot or a full spot. These guys in red they were like 3 or 4 spots away. Like, you completely miscalculated. Takanosho and Hakuno Fuji, I had them on the wrong sides of the Banzuke. I thought Takanosho was going to fall below Hakuno Fuji, but this is an example of that Sanyaku bias, the Makuchi Joy bias, where even if you have a strong losing record, they will go a little bit easier on you. So it's only a half of a rank, but Takanosho being saved that half of a rank matters a little bit, And then, of course, I got Daisho wrong by 1 rank. I somehow messed up Daisho and Tomawashi's placement again. I thought Tomawashi with a 7 and 8 was going to stay where he was, but they had him fall a rank to make room for Daisho, which that makes sense. They want to push up Daisho. They want him to get back up to the Sanyaku ranks. And Daisho's record of 10 and 5 from Maegashira 10 plus 6, that makes sense. Everything else in here is pretty much a crapshoot. Like, Hinata Umi I had at Maegashira 8, he actually went to Maegashira 6, which he had a 4 and 11 from Maegashira 3, so they really saved his hide. Oshoma and Fujinokawa fell to up to Maegashira 7. I had Oshoma fall to Maegashira 9 with his 4 and 11 from Maegashira 4, and I had Fujinokawa go up to Maegashira 6. So, like, just it was one of those little domino effects where I missed one thing, so a lot of other things got messed up. Like this Kinbozan and Onokatsu, I only got right because they were the only solid people here. They were the only 7 and 8s that didn't fall in the middle here. And then Roga, I thought he was going to go a little bit higher, Maegashira 7. Nope, Maegashira 9. Like, huh? Shodai, he had, where was Shodai? 4 and 11 from Maegashira 5. They were very easy on a lot of the losers here. They were a little rough on Tobizaru, 6 and 9 from Maegashira 9. I had him falling to Maegashira 12. They had him fall to Maegashira 13, saving Abi just a little bit. So I'm not going to go over every single one of these. And then, of course, again, at the very bottom, like, I missed these guys by half of a rank. Osho Umi and Asahakuru. Oh no, they swapped spots. A difference of Maegashira 17 East and Maegashira 16 West, but that matters and gets the Banzuke. You don't get any points for that. So that's a little annoying, but this was a really, really, really tough Banzuke to guess. So I hope if you guys played, you had a lot of fun with it too. I know I did. Each of my videos is usually an hour long, but I was really agonizing for like that full hour. So, done with Guess the Banzuke. This is an article that I can't read because it's in Japanese, but someone in my Discord translated it, and it basically reads that Hoshoryu has knee issues. Fluid buildup from a torn meniscus. So it turns out Hoshoryu is a little battered and bruised this tournament. Is he going to be healthy for this upcoming tournament? Likewise, I don't have an article for it, but apparently Onosato is still not recovered from his injury as well. So both Yokozuna are coming into this tournament a little hurt, a little injured. Kotozakura has been hurt and injured since he won his yusho a little bit over a year ago. So are we going to see Aonishiki rise to the occasion, rise to the ranks, and blast his way to the top that fast, Let's also cover some highlights before I get into Kachi Clash here. Highlights from the Yokozuna Decision Council meeting. Summary from Lord Stanley here in my Discord. Yokozuna. They were involved in the yusho arasoi to the last day. The YDC wishes Onosato to completely heal and Hoshoryu to work hard. Aonishiki. Great work, especially considering the state of his homeland, endeavoring and standing fast. That was splendid. Great hidden fighting spirit. We have great hopes for him. Dameoshi, the bad push. Some council members criticized Hoshoryu's conduct, both the Dameoshi and the dangerous way he grabbed at Aonishiki at the end of their match. But the chairman says it was just a general Hinkaku is important. Let's all work on that. So, basically, you know, a lot of people were upset at Hoshoryu giving that extra shove, which, I mean, it is indeed unbecoming of a Yokozuna, but Hakaku chairman basically just said, yeah, everyone needs to work on their manners. You know, not just Hoshoryu, but everyone needs to be, you know, considerate, which, you know, I come from a different culture, a different background, so me seeing that extra push from Hoshoryu, I don't like it, but it's like, that's the first time he's done it in multiple years, if at all. Like, I could not tell you the last time Hoshoryu has delivered a Dameoshi, so like, that one, I think people are overreacting if they're getting mad about it, you know? It's just like, oh, he shouldn't have done that, uh-oh. But, you know, a lot of people get it out of control. And that comes into the next point. The spectators. They even commented on the spectators in their council meeting. The spectators should learn to mind their manners. There were jeers and catcalls. The spectators should respect the sumo world's combination of furious fights and moments of silence. The chairman noted that each venue has its own culture and atmosphere. So it's kind of funny. Like, you know, they're not calling out the Western fans, but they are calling out even their own super rowdy fans, and I think that does put it into perspective too. Like, you know, we think of Japan sometimes as this faraway, distant land with all these different rules and things, and then you hear that one guy in the audience screaming, "Ura! Ura! Ura!" And it's like, dude, shut up. Like, we have those guys here at home. I don't want to hear it in Japan either. But I think it's funny that they even had to comment on some of the fans, which I really appreciate that the fans are getting more animated, because, you know, I did not start watching sumo until right before COVID, basically. So I got to watch, you know, Hakuho with hundreds and thousands of billions of screaming fans in the audience. Then I had to watch sumo with no fans in attendance or every other seat occupied. It's like, oh, wow, it's quiet in here. Now we're getting back to the thousands of fans screaming their heads off. And so basically being on that seesaw the past couple of years as an observer has been interesting. Like, it's very cool to see how things have gone. They sent Tomawashi to talk to Hoshoryu about it, and it was a smaller, lighter, almost Dameoshi on the previous night, so you didn't really see it on the replay. Have you looked at fantasysumo.net, similar to Kachi Clash, but draft more wrestlers, including a Judio man? I have not. I might look into that. Meniscus injuries should not be taken lightly. Felt so bad when the Chris Sumo video dropped yesterday. Yeah, like I say very often, I'm usually very out of the loop unless it's like a big scandal. So I did mention there was a scandal earlier. It involved only a couple of lower ranked men. Scandal at Kisebeya was minor at face value, since no active Sekitori had anything to do with it. And that scandal was one of the lower ranked Rikishi stole money from another lower ranked Rikishi, and the victim of that crime beat the shit out of the guy who stole money from him. So the guy who beat the beater, you know, the guy who had his money stolen, was forced to retire. And the stable master was also punished. The Kisebeya Oyakata was disciplined, and apparently, in the interpolitics of stables and, being on the council and all of that stuff, he was the favorite for an upcoming board election, but because of this scandal under his watch, he is no longer considered the favorite. So, Tamanoi Oyakata is now considered the favorite for whatever internal election they're going to be having. That's stuff outside of my knowledge. I don't know what really goes on behind those closed doors at those meetings, because 99% of the time it's everybody gets voted back into the thing they've been doing for the past 10 years. It's like a local small town politics where it's been the same mayor for 30 years. Let's see, and I don't have any other real news to support except this one little article on Gyotoku. Now, we can find Gyotoku here. He fell to Sandanme 29. He had a pretty good start. Started at Makushida 60 Tsukedashi. He was one of those guys that I wanted to keep an eye on. 23 years old from Takushoku University. Apparently, a bug bite caused myocarditis, and that is why he missed most of the last, or the 2 tournaments ago, and the last tournament. I don't know what that is. Let me look up myocarditis. Inflammation of the heart. Oof. Must have been a really big bug. So, unfortunately, that's why he's been out. Apparently, the cause is a really bad bug bite, or that's what they think it was. I don't know, but hopefully Gyotoku can come back a little bit stronger. Japan has some bugs on par with Australia, right? I know not many people have probably seen it, but Congo, this was a long time ago, like within, I think like 6 or 7 months ago, he was doing a Japanese bug fighting commentary stream where he pulled up this, I don't know what video he was using, I'd have to ask him for the link, but he was just watching, it was a tournament bracket of all these bugs fighting each other, like millipede versus rhinoceros beetle, stink bug versus butterfly, all this bull crap, and it was so funny. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, Miatinsky. So anyway, Gyotoku, we just went over. And before we get into the Kachi Clash, let's take a look at the lower parts of this Banzuke and some guys we're going to be looking out for. Do you use sumo stats? I do use sumo stats sometimes. I mean, I use sumo database because I'm so used to it. But Sumo Stats is very good. I highly recommend Sumo Stats. Let's see. So what I was going to say is going down to Jonokuchi. Of course, we're looking at Asahi Fuji is far and away the favorite. If he doesn't get a 7-0 record here, it is a disappointing thing. I think, and this might be, a little too early to call, but if he does not break the consecutive matches won from debut streak, then I think that will also be disappointing. This guy should go undefeated until Judio, 100%. And even then, he might 15-0 Judio. You know how people constantly ask, how long would it take for someone to go from the bottom to the top the fastest? Well, currently Aonishiki is that guy, but Asahi Fuji could be the mathematical best. Like watching those Super Mario Bros. Speedruns where they are like 3 frames away from tying the TAS. So that's the expectations for this guy. He is going to tie the TAS or get close to it. All right. All the way down here in Jonidan. I don't really know any names in Jonidan right now. There is I recognize Kuai. He's from Futagoyama Stable. Let's hope he can do something down here. But Jonidan is largely a mystery to me. This is where that churn of young guys coming up, old guys coming down, middling guys, like this is not the place you want to stop your journey, but if you stop here, you know, maybe you should consider going back to college. Sandanme is where a lot of the men that we are keeping an eye on are going to be staying. So let me pull that up real quick. This is where, nope, that's the wrong thing. Or was that the right thing? Where is my sheet? I had the names pulled up just a second ago. But basically, this is where Hikaru Musashi, Tenrose, and all of those gentlemen are going to be sitting. So we have, Hikaru Musashi at Sandanme 42, a new career high. Ooh, Zui Tenryu, also up to a Sandanme 40. Good for him, 20 years old. Look out for this guy coming off the back of a 6-1. But we're obviously looking at Hikaru Musashi. Ryuho, coming off the back of that 7-0 Jonidan Yusho. Keep an eye out for him. 18 years old. Let's hope he doesn't get bullied too much here. We're also looking for Tenrose, who fell back down. Unfortunately went 3-4. Hoshoryu's cousin, 19 years old. Still has a lot of room to develop. And, you know, high Sandanme, low Makushita is a good place to develop your skills. So we're going to be keeping an eye on all of those guys. Up in Makushita division, we still have that Enho counter. We're still looking for a couple of these young guns. Ikarigata, going to keep my eye on him. 18 years old, middle Makushita. That's really strong. 3-4 from the last tournament. Not a winning record, but I mean, I think this is going to be a good guy to look out for. Kaki. Lots of requests for Kaki. Unfortunately, he did not get that 7-0 back in Jonokuchi, but he's effectively 3 straight yusho from debut. A 4th yusho right here would be incredible, but I don't think it's going to happen. Keep your eyes on Kaki, because he is going to get an all 7 days video. And then, of course, we are also going to be taking a look at Enho, up to Makushita 11. He only needs one more tournament as a Sekitori in order to become a stable master after he retires. So we are really pulling for him. 5-2, 5-2. A 4-3 is something I will be happy with, honestly. I don't know if he's going to get that, though. And then, the last guy we've been keeping an eye on down here in this 3rd division, we have Fukuzaki. Really bouncing back after that 2-5. 6-1. Now he is at a new career high. Fukuzaki, 19 years old. Can you break up into the Judo division? You're going to have your chance here. We'll probably need 5 wins to get it. You might be thinking, well, we're missing a guy. Where did he go? The big guy. Got Kazuma in Judo. Kazuma. I am very much looking forward to seeing him. 7-0 Yusho, 7-0 Yusho. On the comeback after this injury in his debut. It's so sad to see. Debuted in 2024. It should have been up in Judo a year ago, but you know, better late than never. He's here, 24 years old, from Nihon University at Kisei Stable. Keep an eye on Kazuma's debut down in Judo. After that, we will be looking at Dewa Noryu's debut as well. Dewa Noryu, he had a longer journey up, but he is equally as old. He's turning 25 before the next tournament. Made his debut back in 2019, so he was 19 years old right after high school. So came very close back in 2022, but was out that tournament. Could never really get it back. He was in high Makushita for so long. You know, a lot of you guys that tune in at the start of Judo or during the Judo Dohyoiri, you've been hearing the name Dewa Noryu for years now. because he would feature in those last 5 matches before the Judo division, and now he's finally in Judo. Very much looking forward to him. And then we have one more guy in here. Where's the name? Well, we got Meisei down here. We have Takeru Fuji down here. Shonan no Umi down here. Fuji Seiyun versus Koto Eiho at Judo 1. That's going to be a little rough. I'm keeping an eye on Fuji Ryoga, who had that amazing 13-2 debut at the last tournament, up to Judo 3. Like I said he would be. He was going to get stuck in that traffic jam. So what he's going to be doing up at the top of this Judo Banzuke, I don't think he's going to be like Yoshino Fuji, but man is he strong. Keeping an eye on Fuji Ryoga. And now, coming all the way up the Banzuke, we have a couple of guys making their debuts, but this is where, oh, no, I didn't want to pick Oho. Go away. Go. I don't want you. This is where we're going to start our Kachi Clash picks. I'm going to start from the bottom. We have a couple of debutantes in Hatsuyama and Asahakuru. Now, I do want to say I really don't know what to expect from either of these guys. Sandanme 100 Tsukedashi spent a good long year marinating in Judo. Didn't really struggle. I mean, 6-9 is not horrible. 10-5, 11-4 ceiling. Scrapes in with that 11-4. Maegashira 17 West, he gets it. On the other side, Asahakuru, 10-5 from Judo 2. Right after the back of a 13-2 yusho, 7-0 yusho, so he's been on a hot streak lately. Asahakuru, he's, I would say, on the older side, but Tomawashi is really the outlier here. 27 years old, making your debut in the top division. That's not a terribly good sign, but this just could be his hot streak starting right now. It's been going on for a year. 5-2, 5-2, 7-0, 13-2, 10-5. Asahakuru might not be a bad pick. Then we have guys like Osho Umi, Asanoyama. Everyone's going to be picking Asanoyama. Muscle Man Asakoryu. Ryu Den. I'm not picking Ryu Den. Mitake Yumi. I'm not picking Mitake Yumi. Osho Umi. He made his debut. Lost 8 straight. Then finished strong. Ran the table to survive in the top division. Which is hilarious. Win your debut match in the top division, day 1. Lose 8 straight. Win 6 straight. Like, buddy. Osho Umi, I think that now that he has his sea legs, he'll have a better time surviving. But I'm not going to pick him. Shishi, I'm not going to pick him either. You want to know why? Because Tobizaru is right above him, and that's who I'm picking. Tomokaze is here, but his ceiling is not nearly as high as it used to be. This is probably what his ceiling is going to be. So I'm not too keen on Tomokaze either. Midori Fuji, he's a fun guy, but he really has fallen off since his initial debut. That like rookie year in the top division. I mean, using the word rookie doesn't make too much sense for sumo, because, you know, usually that refers to young guys, unless you're like Tyler Shao, who's 26, or like Carson Beck, who's going to be 30 by the time he actually declares for the draft, you know. But to be a rookie in the top division, and then after that, he kind of fell off after that initial push. So Midori Fuji, I'm not too keen on him. A lot of people may argue that Abi is ranked way too low for his station, and I would agree. But after 2 abysmal tournaments in a row, 3-12, 5-10, he's just not looking strong, and he has to be hurt or something. If he's still fighting hurt, he's probably falling to Judo. If he has it back, he's going 15-0, and I'm not willing to take that gamble. Then, of course, we have Chiyoshoma and Nishiki Fuji at the very top of this bottom section here. Maegashira 11. Chiyoshoma, he's a wild card pick. I love him. He's fun. He'll go 1-14 or he'll go 11-4, you know? And everything in between. Chiyoshoma is a very fun wild card pick. Nishiki Fuji, on the other hand, He looks like, again, after his initial climb up the Banzuke, did the slow climb up the Banzuke to Maegashira 3 over the course of a year. He's settled down in these lower ranks, and he's struggling. Sure, it's a year and a half ago, but like 5-10, 6-9, 6-9. Injury, okay, bounces back from injury. That's fine. 11-4 from Judio. 9-6 is a good comeback, but I don't think he's going to reach that ceiling of Maegashira 3 again. Winning record here for sure, but I don't think he's going to have that big of a winning record. And if you want someone that will have that big of a winning record, you're picking Asanoyama. If you want someone solid, definitely go for Nishiki Fuji. If you want to take the gamble, go on Abi or Tobizaru. Shishi is another kind of question mark because this is also kind of where he's comfortable too. He struggles massively at Maegashira 11 apparently, but then 10-5 from Maegashira 18. How many Kinboshi will there be this Basho? 12. There will be 12 Kinboshi, and both Yokozuna will drop out of the tournament after they go 0-7. But Shishi, he is not near his ceiling, but he's close enough to it that I think he'll only go like 8-7 or 7-8. Not really too confident in him. Tobizaru, I think he's just slowing down. I think he is nearing the end of his career. He has not been looking fast and fun. He has not been looking as quick and agile. Tobizaru, he just looked slow and sloppy at that last tournament, 6-9. He should have a winning record from here. I'm going to pick him because he's my favorite, but I mean, if you want to win Kachi Clash, you pick Asanoyama. Nishiki Fuji is another solid pick. Could argue one of these debutantes. Could argue Asahi might have a really good time too. So, Asahi not a bad pick there. I'm not actually picking Oho. We'll get to that in a second. Next up, this middle section. Let me take a drink of water real quick. It's still not Banzuke, it's Banzuke. Nah, I get it. It took me so long to, whose name was it? One of these Rikshi up here. I kept on pronouncing his name wrong forever until I started pronouncing it right, and now I can't pronounce it wrong again. Who was it? I'm looking. Kotokuzan, yeah. I used to say Kotokuz. I can't even say it wrong. I used to say Kotokuzan, but it's Kotokuzan. Anyway, Maegashira 6-10. This is going to be another chaotic cluster. Hira do Umi, Onokatsu, Oshoma, Fujinokawa. That's my man. I love Fujinokawa. He is so much fun to watch. That's the guy I'm picking. Shodai, Kinbolzan, Gonoyama, Roga, Toki Hayate, and Koto Shoho. Toki Hayate, surprisingly making it to this career high. Kongo likes him as much as I like Fujinokawa. Thank you for the Prime subscription, not Kool-Aider. And, as speedy as Toki Hayate is, he slows down in the second half of that tournament. And you can see it the last time. 3 losses on the last 3 days. 2 losses in the last 3 days, the previous 2 tournaments. So, you can see it in his speed. Kongo very much praises his speed. And he does slow down in that second half. So at this new career high, I think he's going to struggle. Koto Shoho, he's all over the place. He's a yusho winner. I can't predict him. I thought he was going to have a bad time. 13-2. It's like, all right, he's here finally. He's going to have a good time. 3-12. Okay, never mind. 7-8. Probably going to get 7-8 again, aren't you, Koto Shoho? A lot of people are going to pick Roga. I think Roga can have just a simple winning record here. Had the chance to get that 10 wins, and seeing that kind of makes me chuckle because it reminds me of Takara Fuji. Not Takeru Fuji, Takara Fuji. Longtime veteran. His style was much slower, steadier, and he also very much struggled with getting that 10th win. I feel like Roga can occupy that role. He's young, he's 26, but his style and his current arc as a sumo wrestler kind of lends him to be that Takara Fuji-esque like solid veteran, solid mid-carder. You can always count on him to be middle of the road. Like, look at this, 9-6, 7-8, 7-8, 8-7. It wouldn't surprise me if he went 7-8 or 8-7. He's never going to be a bad pick. Like, Takara Fuji was only a bad pick if he had to fight Sanyaku. And even in his prime, he could go toe-to-toe with those guys. Roga, he could hit his stride and make it up to the Sanyaku. Will it happen this tournament? No, I don't see him going 11-4 anytime soon, but another 8-7 is definitely in the cards. I mean, come on. He could definitely get another 8-7. I would pick Roga if you want someone solid. Shodai, Lord of Chaos. I want to say he's falling off, but then he goes 10-5 at Maegashira 11, 4-11 from Maegashira 5. I forget. He didn't have to fight the Sanyaku, did he? No, he didn't even fight the Sanyaku. He just did that bad. So, like, dude, what are you doing? Shodai, my guy. I know that analysis isn't very in-depth or biting, but, like, that is kind of the best I have to offer when it comes to Shodai. Because, he's got strong defensive sumo, but all of his opponents are so much faster at the draw that they just overwhelm him. But some guys are still too inexperienced to deal with him and will lose to him. And even against some of the experienced guys, like he beat Tobizaru at the last tournament. He beat Ichi Yamamoto for the first time, beat the struggling Abi. Chirana Umi, not enough data there. I don't know what to say about Shodai, Then we have Keen Bolzan. Now, when Keen Bolzan went 12-3, was in the playoff, I thought, okay, this is where he's going to hit his stride. He's probably going to be that forever Komusubi or Sekiwake. I don't see him really making it to, the Ozeki rank. And then he didn't. He went 12-3, Jun Yusho from Maegashira 14. Had the chance to follow it up 6-9, and then he's been mid ever since. 7-8 from the middle. Like, I'm not gonna pick him. I wouldn't pick him. Oshoma, across from him. Oshoma is a funny case. I like Oshoma, and I feel like he is best when he is in these middle ranks. I mean, obviously, look at it. Maegashira 6, 10-5. Komusubi 3-12. Maegashira 7, 9-6. Maegashira 4 fought the Sanyaku 4-11. He's gonna be that Onosho-esque guy where he belongs high on the rankings, but he doesn't belong near the Sanyaku. Like, good for him to get that Komusubi rank. He can definitely get back that Komusubi rank with, a good tournament and a couple of guys falling out. But I don't think he's ever going to, sustain a rank in those higher ranks. He's never going to sustain Maegashira 2, 3, 4. He'll always get smacked around by those top dogs. But again, another solid mid-carder. It's just a matter of, is he at the bottom of the yo-yo and going to bounce back? Or is he going to keep tumbling? And I don't think he's going to keep tumbling. This is going to be a good comeback tournament for him. And it is the year of the horse. Oshoma. Look. It says right there, horse. It's right there in his name, horse. It's the year of the horse. Fuji no Kawa. Now, I gush over this guy. I love watching his sumo. He is... I can't even put it into words. He is amazing to watch from my perspective. A lot of people might hear me say that and be like, what the hell is this guy smoking? But to me, Fuji no Kawa's up. I'm getting the popcorn. I'm watching Fuji no Kawa right now. He's fast. He's so much stronger than what he looks like. He's so young and so raw and so energetic. It's like, damn, this guy is going to have a future. Now, we don't want to speak the future into existence too quickly. We don't want him to, go up to Maegashira 3 and then go 1-14 and lose his sumo spirit. So, I'm picking him because he's one of my favorites. I think he is going to have a bad time here, which I think will, long-term be better for his development. Which reminds me of Koto Shoho, when he initially was on the come-up, and he was around these ranks. I think it was Maegashira 5 or 4. And Sumo, in his video, said that he was talking to his parents who own a bar, and his parents had said something to the effect of like, oh, we would have been happy if he went 6-9, but he actually got a winning record. And then right after getting that winning record, he went like 4-11 and then fell down to Judio and then wasn't good for like 3 years. And then he came back and won a yusho. So like, I don't want that kind of arc for Fujinokawa. I want him to stay in these top ranks and continue building on his raw talent. I'm very, very much arguing for Fujinokawa's case here. And then the last two guys in this section, we have Hirado Umi and Onokatsu. Hirado Umi, 25 years old, was Komusubi. I feel like he can make it back to Komusubi. I don't really know what he's struggling so hard with, because, you look at 8-7, 8-7, he's fighting mostly the same guys. Maegashira 5 East, he did fight some of the Sanyaku men and made it through. Maegashira 4 East, he definitely fights the Sanyaku men and makes it through. So it's like, of course he's losing to the Komusubi, he's losing to the Yokozuna and Ozeki, steals a win off of Wakataka Kage. That's what you got to do sometime, is steal that win. But where did he go? But overall, Hirado Umi, like, he's going to get a winning record from here. And I feel like he has more than what he's showing. Like 4-11 from that previous tournament, he's stronger than that. That might have just been an off tournament for him, because he's definitely stronger than 4-11 from Maegashira 3. That was just poor performance. Who knows? Again, could have just been a couple of bad days, losing a couple of coin flips, getting unlucky a few too many times, and then it spirals out of control into a massive losing streak. And once you're tilted, you can't come back from that. Like, it's very hard to come back when you're on tilt like that. So, Hirado Umi, this is going to be a good bounce-back opportunity. Maegashira 6, he's not going to be fighting anyone in the Sanyaku unless he has a very strong winning record. And by that point, if he has a very strong winning record, you're going to be happy you picked him. Hirado Umi is going to be a solid pick here. Onokatsu, 25 years old, from Nippon Sports Science University. I like him. I think he just needs more time against these top dogs. And, I mean, 7-8, 7-8. He's spending a lot of time against these top dogs. He's not fighting the Sanyaku, but he's getting some really good experience. He's fighting, a lot of the top guys. Oh, that was my subscription sound. Thank you, Flippin' the Birdie. It sounded like, because I was talking over it at a weird moment, I thought I heard my baby cry. But, Onokatsu, he's solid. He's strong. I like him. I don't know if he's going to be like Roga and like Takara Fuji, where they are, these mainstay standbys that'll move up and down the Banzuke. I feel like this is his ceiling. Like earlier I said, Roga's ceiling is probably going to be Komusubi or maybe sneaking into Sekiwake eventually. For Onokatsu, it feels like this is his ceiling. And the question is, can he break through it and find momentum to carry him upwards? Or is he going to be stuck here, maybe have a lucky tournament where he moves up a few ranks, gets over-promoted, fights the Sanyaku, and gets smacked back down? Like, that's kind of the futures I see for Onokatsu here. Did your Prime sub not go through? I mean, you have the sub next to your name, so I guess it did, but I don't think I saw the notification. So overall, in this group, Hirada Umi should be a very good pick. Roga, I think, will be an okay pick. Fujinokawa is my favorite. That's who I'm going with. This next upcoming group, we know how it goes. My wife is going to make me pick Takanosho, so I'm going to pick Takanosho. That's her favorite sumo wrestler. But there are a lot of solid options here. We have Churano Umi, Tomawashi, Atami Fuji, Daieisho, Hakuno Fuji, Takanosho, Wakataka Kage, Ura, Yoshino Fuji, and Ichi Yamamoto. This is basically the who's who of non-Sanyaku men. And it shows in how these rankings have, been sussed out. Like, these are the guys that everyone like. I don't know anyone that dislikes Ichi Yamamoto. I don't know anyone that dislikes Yoshino Fuji. I don't know anyone that dislikes Hakuno Fuji or Daieisho. Like, these are all such strong candidates. These are all such likable guys. And they could all either go 10-5 or 5-10. So, like, I don't know what to expect from any of these guys because of the inconsistency being there. But at the same time, that's what kind of makes this section so exciting, is because Ichi Yamamoto, he's probably going to get smacked down. Thank you for your Prime subscription, the dummy. Looking forward to Basho with baby time again. He's been getting much better at sleeping through the nights. So, lately, though, he has had a cough, so that's been keeping him up. But, yeah. So, like, for anyone here, I know I'm making a sweeping generalization about Maegashira 1 through 5, which is what I usually do for these lower guys, Maegashira 11 through 17. But, just to get through it quickly, these guys, they are all, they're so unique in all their styles, but they're also similar in that they all have the potential to do great, and they all have the potential to do terribly. Maybe Churano Umi is the only outlier here in that I really don't expect him to do well. But at Maegashira 5 West, if everyone stays healthy, he's not going to fight the Sanyaku men. He could sneak by with an 8-7. I'm expecting a losing record, though. Tomawashi, the Iron Man, he's old, he's strong, he's looking for, now he's in the top 10 for the most career top division wins. He's going to want to build on that record. 41 years old, going strong for so long. I mean, and his losing records are not even that bad. 6-9, 7-8 from Maegashira 1 and 4. Like, anyone could see this and be like, okay, he might just go 7-8 here again, Like, if I gave you this sheet from the last year, don't know the name of the sumo wrestler, 10-5 from Maegashira 7, 6-9 from Maegashira 3, 11-4 Jun Yusho from Maegashira 4 with a Keen Boshi, 6-9 from Maegashira 1, 7-8 from Maegashira 4, you might be thinking, okay, this guy sounds like this is his first foray into these top ranks, and he had a hot streak there. Sounds like, he's finding ways to win against guys he shouldn't be winning against. But now that they figured him out, he's struggling. It's like, no, we're talking about a dude that has been in the ring longer than some of his opponents have been alive. Like, this guy, Tomawashi, if you want, 7 wins, you definitely pick him. He could honestly get another 11-4. I don't know, He is a very safe pick. He is a very good pick. Usually I pick him as my safe pick, but he hasn't been doing that hot for me lately. He did help me win that, I don't remember if I picked him when I won that one Kachi Clash. I could look that up, actually. That was what? Kotozakura? No, I didn't pick him that time. But usually I do pick him, like, I've been playing this for years. You see, I've picked him 3 times in the past year. So, 3 times in the past year, and then all the way back in March 2023 when he went 3-12 for me. Like, okay, thanks, guy. But Tomawashi could be a solid pick. Now, Atami Fuji. Thank you, James D. Lee, for your tier 1 subscription. Atami Fuji, I think he has an incredible body for sumo, and he just struggles to throw it around. 23 years old, still very young, still has a lot of time to develop. I've been watching him since his debut, and he puzzles me because he's so strong against these lower guys. 11-4 Jun Yusho from Maegashira 10, and even going further back, another couple of years, you see 11-4 Jun Yusho, 11-4 playoff. Just what it has been happening here? He's been struggling against guys that he looks like he should win against. He's been stealing wins off of guys that it looks like he should lose against. It's very wishy-washy and very hard to guess what he's going to do. Because, 5-1 against Shodai, 8-2 against Chura no Umi, and then 4-6 against, Abi, 6-0 against Oshoma, a little expected, 7-2 against Tobizaru, a bit expected. Daisho, 5-4, a little bit of variance there, which I would have expected him to get dominated by Daisho, because Daisho is, longtime Sekiwake Oshizumo guy. Koto Shoho, he splits the series with. I feel like he should be dominating Koto Shoho. Losing against Kirishima most of the time, winning against Takayasu, splitting the series there, but he lost the last match. He is a big question mark, and I don't know if it's I don't know if it's motivation or, what could be affecting his sumo on some days where he looks so strong and on some days he just doesn't. Oh, no, I'm not actually picking Oho yet. I didn't get there. I'm still explaining this middle ranks. So Tommy Fuji, I don't know if I would pick him. Daisho is another question mark, because after his injury, I thought, okay, he's going to be fully rested, he's going to be fully recovered, he's going to go 12-0 and then lose the last 3 days to lose the yusho. But he went 7-8. It's like, huh? Okay, that was just a warm-up. It was a 7-8 warm-up, comes back 10-5. Okay, that's more like it. Probably shouldn't have dropped those matches in the first few days, but finished strong to get 10 wins. Understandable for Yusho winning Sekiwake. Maegashira 4, I don't know if he still has the power. Because last tournament, he looked like he was struggling against some of these guys in these middle ranks. Losing to Koto Shoho, that was surprising. Losing to Fujinokawa, that was so much fun to watch for me. Losing to Abi, who he's usually strong against, and Abi struggled that tournament. Losing to Atami Fuji, who he normally loses to. Losing to Chura no Umi, what? How does Chura no Umi have such a strong record against Daisho? How did that happen? So, I think Daisho is going to be a question mark here, honestly. I don't know if I would pick him. Hakuno Fuji, again, he's young, he's strong, I really like him. It's always a question of his shoulder's been fine since that surgery. It's his bicep that keeps tearing. His bicep, I don't know what keeps happening. I don't know what he keeps doing with it, but that bicep keeps getting hurt. That keeps taking him out of tournaments where he looked good. This 8-7, it got hurt. Didn't bow out of the tournament though. 8-7 got a Kinboshi. Again, he's on a Kinboshi streak right now. He's beating Yokozuna consistently, but then he loses to relative randos. Oh my god, he beat Hoshoryu on day 1. He beats, Komusubi Takanosho, but then he loses to pretty much everyone else in the Sanyaku. He loses to, all these former Sekiwake. He lost to Ura. It's buddy, what's going on here? What's happening? He's another question mark. It's just, he needs more time. He and Atami Fuji both need more time. We can't expect everyone to be like Aonishiki and Onosato. Those guys are phenoms. These guys are going to be, I would say, in the future, they could be Ozeki for a year or two. They could get on that streak. They can get up there. It's just, that's maybe 5 or 6 years down the line.
Hakuno Fuji right now, Atami Fuji right now, they're still big question marks. They're still developing. They're still learning. So I don't think they're going to have good times here. Takanosho is another wild card too. I never have any confidence in him, and then he goes 12-3, you know? Like, I just think he can't hang in the Sanyaku anymore, because outside of it, you know, you see 8-7, 9-6, 12-3. But then inside of it, 3-12, 4-11, 5-10. So he's definitely slated to have another bad tournament here. I would tell everybody else to not pick Takanosho, but I'm going to pick Takanosho because that's my wife's favorite. Wakatakakage. Wacky Tacky Kagi. He's also 31 years old, much like the guy across from him. Just celebrated his 31st birthday in December. Let's see. Wakatakakage. Again, he's another enigma because 12-3 from Komusubi, 10-5 from Sekiwake. Oh my god, he's going to do it. He's going to make it to Ozeki. 6-9. 7-8. Like, buddy, what happened? You were right there! It's a smiling friends clip. Oh man, we were right there! Someone post that to Sumo memes. But like, Wakatakakage, it doesn't look like he's slowing down. It doesn't look like he's less strong. I think he's just getting outmatched by some of these newer guys like Aonishiki, like Onosato. Kotozakura got a win off of him in a split series. He loses to Oho. He lost to Oho in a match he normally wins. Lost to Onosato, usually loses there. Lost to Hoshoryu, split series. So, you know, this tournament, you could say some of these losses were unlucky, you know. Splitting the series against these guys. Had to Henka Aonishiki, and then losing to Kirishima, again, another split series. So, like, you know, if you're flipping coins and you constantly get tails, it's like, okay, that's just unlucky. Granted, there's a lot more than luck in sumo, but for the purposes of simplifying this, he just had an unlucky run against 50-50s. Because, I mean, we have big sample sizes here. 8-8 going into the match, 8-7 going into the match, 5-2, or rather 6-1 going into this match. Like, this is a match you're not supposed to lose against Oho. Literally steals a win against Aonishiki. Thank you, Walter, for your Judio membership. Wins against Takayasu, usually beats Takayasu. Wins against Takanosho, that's a split series, so he finally won one of those coin flips. Losing to Hirado Umi, who he usually beats, so it's like, I think he has a chance to bounce back here. Will he go 12-3? Probably not. I think he just had one bad tournament. He'll bounce back. One bad tournament, 2 tournaments in a row, you know. Ura. Now, you can call me a hater, but he's definitely one of those guys that can't hang with the Sanyaku. It's fun to have him up here. It's great that he is up here, but 5-10. Last time he was this high, he did get that 8-7. I don't expect him to get another 8-7. Maybe he can and get back up into Komusubi again. That would be nice, but I don't expect it to happen. Aonishiki does not know all 15 of his opponents, but you could reasonably surmise who he will fight based on who is going to be healthy. If we assume everybody's going to be healthy, Aonishiki will fight Hoshoryu, Onosato, Kotozakura, Kirishima, Takayasu, Oho, Wakamoto Haru, Ichiyamamoto, Yoshino Fuji, Ura, Wakatakakage, Takanosho, Hakuno Fuji, Daisho, Atami Fuji. So he should be fighting all 15 of those guys, down to Maegashira 4. If anyone gets injured, you add Tomawashi. If for some reason Gonoyama is 12-0, Aonishiki will probably fight Gonoyama. So we reasonably know he should be fighting all of these guys at the very top, but we don't know for sure because, you know, anything can happen. Onosato and Hoshoryu could both get injured, and we could have 3 guys from Maegashira 10 going on a run. So we might see Aonishiki fighting Toki Hayate and Koto Shoho when they're 12-0, you know, something like that. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Over under 4.5 Henka attempts for this Basho. Asakoryu is here. Chiyoshoma's here. Tobizaru is looking weak. I'm going to say over 4.5 Henkas. And if you win any money off of that, be sure to share. But anyway, who was I talking about? Uda. Uda, he can kind of hang. I never expect him to hang with these top dogs. He is fun when he can, but I wouldn't pick him. Yoshino Fuji, new career high. This guy is on fire, and I don't think anyone expected a 9-6 from him. Getting a Kinboshi at this previous tournament as well over Onosato of all people, defeating Aonishiki straight up. He is Aonishiki's kryptonite, 3-0. The problem is, I think he will be figured out soon. Because you look at all of these head-to-heads, 2-0, 0-1, 2-1, 2-0. Like, these are all very low sample size. Like, 3-0 is the start of a worrying trend. 2-1 is just the start of your data points. You know, 1-0 is your first data point. So, because a lot of people don't have much experience with Yoshino Fuji, they don't know how to fight him. And when they figure that out, he'll struggle. Will that be this tournament? Could be. Could be. I would say it's more likely that it is this tournament because, you know, he is a little bit more familiar with these guys at the top now. At the same time, if we see Yoshino Fuji versus... Oh. Does he just need the binky? Hold on, sorry, the baby is crying. He has had a cold the past couple of days. He's had a runny nose. He's been coughing. I just needed the binky. He's sneezing right now. Okay, wife put him down. Yeah, I've been dealing with allergies. It's because, like, I get my eyes get irritated a lot easier when it's allergy season. Anyway, finishing off. Again, Yoshino Fuji, I feel like he could continue to rise, or he will get figured out. Is this the tournament he gets figured out? Maybe. I can't say for sure if it will be, because usually it is like the second, third tournament. Like we saw with Hirado Umi, he went 10-5 in his debut as a Komusubi, and then got smacked down afterwards. So 9-6 from Maegashira 5 after going through the gauntlet. He could go through the gauntlet again, now with the knowledge he has, and the fact that he seems to be the only guy who can consistently stop Aonishiki. So we'll see. We'll see. He's not a bad pick. Then finally, Ichi Yamamoto. Ichi Yamamoto is probably the funniest pick you could make. Maegashira 1 East. Top of the Banzuke for him. Ichi Yamamoto. 32 years old. I don't think he's going to stand a chance up here. I think he's going to get smacked back down. 4-11. Last time he was Maegashira 5 West. 5-10. Maegashira 4 West. He did get a Kinboshi Maegashira 4 West last March. Who was that against? That was against Hoshoryu, of course it was. Even defeated Kotozakura in that tournament too. But I feel like he is just not strong enough against some of the strong opponents. He's not fast enough against some of the speedy opponents. He'll definitely steal some strong wins. I think his ceiling is 9-6, but that's if he wins a lot of coin flips. That's if he gets lucky. That's if he employs the Henka, which we've seen him do very, very rarely. But Ichi Yamamoto overall, I don't really expect him to do well. So for who I would pick, I think Tomawashi or Daisho would be your best bet. Wakataka Kage, if you feel like he's going to bounce back. Yoshino Fuji, if you think they haven't figured him out yet. Takanosho for me, because that's my wife's favorite. Now, we have the junior Sanyaku, Kirishima, Takayasu, Oho, and Wakamoto Haru. And my voice cracked. This is a bit difficult for me because I kind of don't want to pick anybody. Everyone's consistency here is so poor that it's gonna be a crapshoot no matter what. Now, a couple recent tournaments, it's like, oh, we're spoiled for choice. 2 guys that are 10 wins away from Ozeki Aonishiki at Komusubi, and then, the obvious odd man out, like someone like Oho. But here now, it's Kirishima, the elder Takayasu, the always not strong enough Wakamoto Haru, and then the Oho that had to take a very roundabout path to his first Komusubi tournament of getting to Sekiwake by leapfrogging it twice and then falling to the rank. And that's the other thing too. He can show prowess at the top here. 10-5 from Maegashira 2, fighting mostly the same exact people, 7-8. So if we want to look at that consistency, always loses to Wakamoto Haru, but he won last tournament. Always loses to Wakataka Kage, but he won last tournament. And then lost to coin flip-ish to Hirado Umi. Always loses to Uda, lost to Uda. Always loses to Takayasu, lost to Takayasu. Always beats Hakuoho. Mostly loses to Kirishima, lost to Kirishima. Beat Tomawashi in a coin flip. It's just he does not have strong records against anyone up here. He kind of lucked out with the 2 wins over the Onami brothers. 50-50 against Hoshoryu, losing record against Onosato. Like, you look at this chart and you think that he should have struggled even more. But being able to steal wins off of some of these guys keeps him alive, keeps him up there, and shows that he does have the smarts. It shows that he does have the power, but it's just he doesn't have the consistency. And I'm going to keep saying that too, because next up, Wakamoto Haru, 2 Kinboshi in the last year, but his strongest record was 9-6. Granted, he spent the last 2 years, 3 almost, if you want to go down to Maegashira 6, but he spent the last 2 years as one of these top guys in and out of the Sanyaku. Like, he's not the worst choice you can make. I think Oho might be the worst choice, but Wakamoto Haru, he's, worst record 6-9 with the Kinboshi. One of those losses gets turned around 7-8. That's okay for Kachi Clash. 8-7 at the last tournament, lost to Oho, probably should have won. Losing to Aonishiki, not enough data. Beat Takanosho, usually loses. Lost to Takayasu, always loses. Lost to Onosato, always loses. Stole a win off of Hoshoryu. Shouldn't have won that one, but he shouldn't have lost to Oho over here, so stays at 8-7. Mostly loses to Kotozakura, got that win. Beat Yoshino Fuji. Lost to an Uda, who he mostly wins against. Lost to a Kirishima, who he mostly loses against. So, looking at this chart, seeing who he won and lost to Ichi Yamamoto, who he usually wins against. Again, even if we adjust for losses against people he wins against and wins against people he loses against, he's still 8-7. He's still a middle of the road guy. Ceiling at this tournament, 9, floor 6. That's not a lot of variance, but if you want to win, again, either of these guys are just a little too inconsistent. Now, Takayasu, 35, strong dad. He has, you look at these past few tournaments, and it looks like he's needed to rely on, those last 4 matches, those last couple of days to get these wins. Arguably, probably should have lost to Kirishima on day 15 to go 6-9 and fall a bit further, but they fed him Koto Shoho. Wakamoto Haru was still fighting for his tournament life. Hirado Umi was still a middling record, but he has winning records against these guys. So like they kind of fed him matches that he should be winning. And then again, the last 3 days to close it out. Losing to Kirishima, that's almost split series. Losing to Hoshoryu, who he usually beats, but recently Hoshoryu has been dominating. And then again, beating Nishiki Fuji, beating Atami Fuji, almost a split series. Going a little bit further back too. Like, nothing really out of the ordinary here. I feel like Takayasu should have 8 wins again. But it doesn't feel like any of these guys are going to breach 10. So this Sekiwake and Komusubi spot is probably going to be a struggle for a lot of us here. Final pick, Kirishima. And Kirishima, Maegashira 2, 11-4. And even last year, earlier this year, 11-4, 8-7, 11-4. It's like, okay, come on. You're Sekiwake with an 11-4. You can push for Ozeki, right? No, 8-7, 6-9. It's like, dude. And this 8-7 collapse, that was so sad. Losing to Onosato, losing to Kotozakura, who he should have won against, who should be beating. If I say should have won, I'm looking at the record. I don't remember what the match was like. Kusano was a new opponent. Kotoshoho was still relatively new to him, and Kotoshoho was very hot that tournament. Wakataka Kage, it's a split series. He lost that coin flip. So, like, that late collapse was really awful. And, he started off hot again. 4-0. But then just fell apart in the middle there. What happened, dog? What happened? You lost to Aonishiki. You lost to Tomawashi, who you mostly win against. You lost to Wakamoto Haru, who you mostly win against. Like, why are you losing to these guys that you mostly win against? Lost to Kotozakura, who he mostly wins against. Look at that. It's 2-1 in Kirishima's favor. Why are you losing this match? Losing to Takayasu, who, it's close to a coin flip, but has a bit of an edge there. So, like, again, it's just the consistency, because right after that, he goes 11-4. Restart the Ozeki clock, I guess. Finally beat Kotozakura. Aonishiki is starting a trend. Still loses to the Yokozuna, but beats Tomawashi this time. Beats Wakataka Kage this time. Loses to Takanosho, who dominates him in the head-to-head. And then, in these close series, he wins that coin flip. And he wins against people he should be winning against. So, like, he should have a good record here. But sometimes he just drops, I feel that Kirishima, though, has the highest ceiling. I would say 11 wins. 8 or 9 is more likely. I don't see him getting a strong losing record like 6. So I think he has the highest floor, too. So I'd put Kirishima at about 11 or like anywhere between 11 and 7 wins, whereas everyone else, like anywhere between 9 and maybe 5 for Oho. So I think Kirishima is going to be the best choice for anyone in this section. And then finally, the very tippy top of the Banzuke, Hoshoryu, Onosato, Kotozakura, and Aonishiki. Now, for anyone that was here earlier, and for anyone that does keep their ear to the ground on sumo news, a couple of monkey wrenches have been thrown in these past couple of days. Reports are saying Onosato is not fully healed from his injury, but he wants to fight through it. Reports are saying Hoshoryu has meniscus damage and has fluid building up in his knee. Kotozakura is Kotozakura. And Aonishiki is the fresh new Ozeki, who traditionally Ozeki do struggle in their first tournament as an Ozeki. But with both Yokozuna hurting, with a big question mark on Kotozakura because it looks like he's been hurt since last year. Since actually a year ago, when he hurt himself to win the yusho. It looks like this is Aonishiki's to win, right? It looks like it should be the Aonishiki show. Who is here to challenge Aonishiki? The two Yokozuna are battered and bruised. Kotozakura, you can't count him out, but I mean, you can't really count him in either. He has been struggling this past year. He has been avoiding Kadoban. Look at all those 8s and 7s. But when scheduled up against, the last few guys on the last few days, he's not closing it out either. So I have no, I want to pick Kotozakura because he was one of my favorites, but, he just hasn't been doing it. But I know Aonishiki is going to have the most picks because, like I said, if people have been paying attention, Onosato and Hoshoryu are a little bit banged up. They are a little bit hurt. So Aonishiki is the obvious favorite in this group. Made it to the rank of Ozeki, the fastest out of anyone who started from the bottom of the Banzuke in history. I mean, look at his career. Not a single losing record. Not a single record with more than 5 losses. Look at his worst record was a 10-5 in his judo debut. That's his floor, is 10 wins. If you want to extrapolate these 6-1s, he's basically getting 13-2s in these tournaments. Like, he's on fire. Aonishiki. The red carpet has been rolled out for you. Get this win, my guy. I'm going to pick Kotozakura, though, because I have to stay consistent. I got to stay loyal. That's my guy. That's Kotozakura. He's been struggling. That's for damn sure. And as an Ozeki that has a lot of opponents that he struggles against, you see Kirishima loses against, Takayasu he loses against, split series with Uda, lost against Tomawashi, who he usually wins against, lost against Wakamoto Haru, who he usually wins against. But then he goes on a streak, beats a lot of guys he should be beating. Hoshoryu, edge for Hoshoryu. Onosato, surprise win over Onosato, although you could say Onosato was hurt that day. And then losing to Aonishiki in what is probably going to be the start of a trend. See, Uchimuso. If Kotozakura doesn't figure out a way to stop losing to Uchimuso, Aonishiki is going to have his number. But again, like winning a 50-50 against Wakataka Kage, losing to the people he should lose to, dropping matches against people who he should win against. Like if he has these 3 matches, he's still only 11-4. That's not challenging for the cup. I mean, at that point in the tournament, it kind of was, but you know what I mean. Like Kotozakura this past year, he has been disappointing. Last year was disappointing for him. Great that he stayed Ozeki the entire year. Only Kadoban once, and because he was hurt in this tournament, which he should have bowed out of just to preserve his body. But you know sumo wrestlers, they're stubborn. I'm picking Kotozakura because he's my favorite, but far and away favorite is Aonishiki here. And those are my picks for Kachi Clash. Almost 2,000 entries. That's crazy. This game has gotten a lot bigger. So, who do I have in the first selection? That would be, to review my picks, we have Kotozakura, Kirishima, Takanosho, Fujinokawa, and Tobizaru. Basically, picking all my favorites and Kirishima. If Hoshin Onosato do withdraw... sorry. I haven't adjusted my body to the sumo schedule yet. This tournament will be a mad dash by everyone in those kinds of tournaments. Favor guys like Tomawashi and Takayasu. It's true. I can see Tomawashi, dark horse. Tamawashi's always a dark horse. He's never a long shot at Tomawashi. But that'll be it for us on the YouTube side. Thank you for those of you on the YouTube side. The streaming proper will begin tomorrow. Let's see. Why isn't this Yes, I am live. Thank you. So, for those of you on the YouTube side, thank you very much for watching. I just had to figure something out because YouTube changed their UI. We are going to continue over here on the Twitch side because we have a couple of videos to watch. The ring purification ceremony, the presentation of the yusho portraits, and a couple of training videos we got on the back burners. We also have Aonishiki accepting the fish and accepting the Ozeki promotion. So if you want to keep watching over on Twitch, that's where we will be. And if you want to watch over on YouTube, we will be ending it for the night there. So thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys tomorrow. One more sleep till Sumo. But technically, this tournament has already started. The drums have been banged, and they are going to war.